Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Inventors LaunchPad Network. I am Carmine Denisco, your host for today's show. And today on the LaunchPad, we have Karina and Jared Rabin. I think that's how I pronounced their last name. I just asked them earlier, so hopefully I got it right. They are the inventors of the Hang-O-Madic, an awesome little product. We were just talking earlier before we started the show about how they came up with it, how the trip has been to get the product in the stores, and I believe we have them on the line now. Hey guys, are you over there?
Yeah,
We're here.
Very cool. Hey, did I pronounce your last name right?
Perfect.
Okay, good. Very good. Well, we can get started again then. Hey guys, real quick, I know that you've been selling the product and it's been taking off, and why don't you just give us a little background on how you came up with the idea? I know it's been several years in forming or making it.
So I actually thought of the idea in college. So I'm 37 now. So it's 20, maybe 18.
I thought you were 38.
I can't remember. I'm definitely under 40. I know that for sure.
That's awesome.
Karina's correcting me. So in college, I was like, in college, I wanted my dorm room to look nice. So I hung stuff up. Like I just, wasn't like the typical dorm room. But we weren't allowed to make holes in the walls. If you did, you got back charged.
Oh, God.
So I didn't care. I did anyways, but I wanted to do it in a way where I wouldn't make so many holes in the walls. So I invented Hang-O-Madic, which basically marks the wall. It's a tape measure with pointers and a bubble level attached. So you would marks the wall for you exactly where to put your nail, your screw. So I would minimize back charges.
Wow. I mean, you thought of this while you were in college. You were looking to save money, which, when I was in college, I was never looking to save money, which is pretty cool that you were doing that. Now, how did they expect you to hang things up? Not that I'm trying to get off on the
right.
in the podcast.
Posters. People use tape and posters.
Right, scotch tape.
But I had shelves, like I was in college, I had shelves and stuff. And, I didn't just have posters. I had, pictures. It wasn't just posters.
Right.
Well,
frames, right. So
you needed a shelf. You needed a shelf to hold up the beer and all the other stuff.
That's right. Right, I know the paraphernalia they had in college too, so I needed a shelf for that.
Well, there's also all you get in the dorm room is like a desk,
Right.
I mean, now you get more than that, but back in the day, it was like a desk and a bed. Where are you going to put your books?
Right.
Yeah, I totally agree. My dorm room was desolate. I mean, I tried to not spend any time in there at all, so that's pretty funny. So it's weird that you did. So you came up with this in college, which is cool. And we'll get to kind of what it looks like now, but does it look like the idea as of now? I mean, how many iterations?
No, it looks like, and my first prototype in college looks like a medieval weapon. It's 3 feet long, 3 feet long with huge nails sticking out of the sides. It looks like an awesome medieval weapon that you'd use to kill many people.
Yeah, he showed it to me shortly after we met. He took me to his mom's house. So it was February 5th, football, 2008. He took me to meet his parents, and then he's like, let me show you something in my room.
Uh-oh.
Okay, what do you want to show me in your room? Then he whips out this 3-foot medieval-looking tool with the spikes were like...
They're nails.
They were nails. They were like 3-inch nails.
Wow. That's crazy.
That was prototype 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's so cool that this actually worked and you kept it. You didn't use it and say, okay, cool. I'm not going to never need it again. You knew you had something there, it seems like.
Oh yeah. I mean, throughout the years before I even met Karina, I kept making the prototypes more and more like retail looking, to my abilities. I actually would go to my mom's house. So I came from a family of tool stores. So my dad owned a tool store, my grandpa owned a tool store. So my dad had tools and I knew tools. So I was like grinding, cutting, gluing, making something more retail looking. So it always worked. It was just ugly,
Enter Karina. I'm sure Karina, helped spruce it up a little bit.
Karina got it from the closet to, pushing me, because I was working full time right out of college. She got it to the next stage, which was help me drive into retail.
Wow, that's great. And Karina, which great hats off to you, because a lot of times here at the LaunchPad, we have a husband and wife or boyfriend, girlfriend. They kind of fight about the invention. One doesn't want the other to do the invention, or they fight about it, which is awesome that you actually said, I like this product, let's move forward with it. I think that's great.
Yeah, well, right before we met, I hung a shelf. Well, actually, I didn't hang a shelf. I tried to hang a shelf. And I was living by myself in an apartment. I had moved from New York to LA, and I ruined the wall. So when we met and he showed me that prototype, I thought it was genius.
Oh.
So then when we moved in together, I kind of even forgot about the prototype, and I went to hang another shelf. And again, I didn't do a good job. And then he went to hang the shelf because he's a tool guy, so he hung it. And we put a snow globe on top, and we watched it crash to the ground. And it had his parents' wedding anniversary song on it. So obviously we're like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. And then he remembered, oh my God, I have remember that medieval tool, and we hung it with it, and it was perfect. So I thought, well, let's go. Like, what are you doing? It's been 8 years since he kind of like developed the prototype, and then I nagged him. I nagged him daily.
She still does that, by the way, and it's 10 years.
Well,
I never stopped.
That's
what I mentioned.
I'm not an inventor, right? So I'm in sales. There's a product. At the time when we met, I was in sales. So when he showed me there's a successful product, give me to sell it. I want to go sell it. I want to go. I don't have time. He's the inventor. He has to make it, manufacture it, find the factory. I didn't know any of that. Mm-hmm. I just thought, what are you doing? Why are you on the couch watching TV, relaxing from work all day?
Because I got up at 3 a.m. That's why.
I'm like, why aren't you finding a factory? Like, what are you doing? I thought you just like snap your fingers, Google China, boom, factory, I didn't know how long this process takes.
Yeah.
So I've been nagging, and so yeah, of course we were fighting because I didn't understand why it's taking so long, So it took. We met in 2008, and it took another 8 years.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
To make it what it is today.
Wow. Yeah. It's great that you guys, and I can only imagine some of the fights you may have had. Obviously, they weren't that bad because you're still working together, and the product has made it onto the shelves. Real quick, for some of the viewers and listeners, what's the website that they can find it at?
Hang-O-Madic.com. Hang-O-Matic.com. Hang-O-Madic.com.
Wow, that's great. I mean, that domain name was available. That's awesome.
We bought it right away.
Yeah,
we bought that like 10 years. I mean, 8 years ago.
I named it Hang-O because I was like I said to you earlier, Target, Walmart, Geico. So it was Hang-O. And then we through the years met people, and someone said that because it does it automatically, add the O-Matic. So we own both.
Good. Well, that's good. I'm glad. So if anybody's listening out there, certainly go out to the website, and we'll talk a little bit about purchasing the Hang-O-Madic later. But if you need one, especially for the holidays coming up, go on out there and get it. So the story is awesome. I mean, it's so great that you guys, whether you were fighting, weren't fighting, but you're kind of working together to get this product going. And Karina, you're 100% right. And Jared, going out to China, finding a factory, just being able to speak with the guys over there. They're great people. It's just hard to find somebody and be able to talk with them and communicate with them. I mean, was that a frustrating time? Did you go through iterations? Did you go through factories? Did you get some prototypes that made, or did anything happen?
So to me, that is the most difficult thing still. So I mean, I just wrote a nasty email this morning to my factory in China. The Chinese,
I think it's like a third or fourth.
The Chinese are savvy, just like Americans. It's not a third world country, and if they think if they think they could take from you, they will. And no different than like a savvy businessman in the U.S. would. So just to go and just to reach out on your own without any experience is really difficult. That's still a challenge. I mean, I just changed factories, and I'm in the middle of changing my rep. I mean, it's always a challenge.
But just to tell you, the inside of the handle of the actual tape part, that comes from China. Oh, yeah. And then the handle is made here in the U.S.
The total cost, it's actually 87% made in America. There's a gut part in the middle that comes from China. The rest I make here in Ontario, California.
But he's still like, like a dog to an owner who needs the middleman, right, to get the tape from China.
We're trying to oust him as we speak. But yeah.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't have said that.
Yeah. Well, don't play this yet.
Don't play this yet.
Okay, but no, we hear that a lot, and we feel for you. We know, just like you said, they're savvy business in China. They're business people, and it's not as easy as people think. People think they can just, like you guys had said earlier before we started the show, they're just going to Google China factory and they're going to have 10 people that are going to make their product. It just does not happen. You know, you're up at 3:00 in the morning talking to them, trying to get them to talk to you. It's not easy, but finding somebody, getting it done, it's very, very frustrating. It's kind of scary too, because when you send that money over there, you're just like, whoa, I got to send some money.
Right.
Right. You don't know who you're sending it to.
Right.
Yeah, no doubt. But I'm glad you're making some of it here.
I mean, you definitely have to have, the first time you do it, someone, in my opinion, who you trust for the middleman. And then as you could afford it, like I plan in January to fly out to the factory for the first time. Oh. So but you have to have the volume and you have to have the income to do that. You can't start that way. So I've always had a middleman, who's facilitated it for me because I can't be there.
Right.
So it's a process depending on what your finances are like.
I think it's important to add that whatever conversation you have with this middleman, it has to be in writing. Email. And save everything. Save everything. Do not delete.
Yeah. So okay, that's great. So let's fast forward a little bit. You guys are getting the product made, and now you're looking to try to get it into store shelves. Were you trying to get a TV shopping, maybe an infomercial type thing? What were you going after first?
Anything. We went to trade shows.
Yeah.
And we pitched everyone and everything, and followed up with the hottest leads first. But it took years to get into retailers. So we were following up with like 25 companies at a time, and some of them we just got into a few months ago. Some of them we got into 2 years ago. Some of them we got into 3 years ago. So her and I went to trade shows. Karina in her high heels and skirt, and me. In my tie, and she would bring buyers into my booth, and I would pitch them. She would drag them down aisles, and she would drag them around and she literally would like chase people around the trade show, bring them, say, my husband needs you, and she would grab them. And then we also do
people hated us that were in the booths around us.
Oh yeah, if you were around us,
hated us,
right? Because we just stole the thunder. But we were there, we had money in this thing, and it was go big or go home, and that's the only way we do it. So
right. It's like you don't go to you spend about $5,000 going to a trade show with the hotel, airfare, the trade show cost, food, and you can't just stand there like,
right,
I'm sorry. It's like when you're single, the girl is not gonna come knocking on your door, right? Or the guy is not gonna come knocking on your door. You have to put yourself out there. So when we were at the trade show, every time some buyer walked by, or we didn't know who was a buyer, who was a rep, who's a what. Every time somebody walked by, I'd be like, let me show you my invention.
Right. So we went after everything. And if there was a heartbeat, we went after them. That's how we started. That's how we started anyways.
Well, good. I mean, you were there. I totally agree with you guys. I mean, you can't just stand there. Hopefully somebody's going to walk in the door and talk to me about this. There's so many people that are pulling at them and going after them. I would totally agree with you 1,000,000%.
Right. No one's going to stop and say, let me see your product.
No. There's so many. Do you find that with some of the retail buyers, think they're just getting pulled in so many directions that it's hard to get their attention?
Squeaky wheel gets the grease. Absolutely. You one time does not do it. It's 30 times.
Wow.
Right.
What's one of the trickiest things? I mean, I know you guys are in some retailers, which is awesome. What is some of the tricky things about dealing with the retailer? Just getting your product ready or shipping it or packaging. What are some of the tricky things about going to retail?
Figuring out, there's so many things. So the routing guides. So when you get into a retailer, all of a sudden they send you a 185-page pamphlet on how to handle their business. And it's not, okay, I got a PO, ship it. It's go into their portal, just download the spreadsheet, enter 85 lines in so we understand what the product is, with acronyms that are beyond us that you can't find online. And every retailer is different. Go to the portal, receive this, ship this, acknowledge this.
Mm-hmm. Put the label here, put the label
right,
here.
Or put the label here. If it's not here, you're going to, it is beyond overwhelming.
So you're familiar with QVC.
Yeah.
You've shipped to QVC. Well, the first time we shipped.
We have a non-disclosure agreement. I'm trying to discuss that.
QVC. That we had to send it back?
Yeah, you shouldn't discuss that because I think I have a non-disclosure agreement. But like QVC, wonderful company. We're going to go in January. Their routing guide is super complicated for me. Not for probably Stanley Black & Decker, but for me, it's like, wow. and to be at the company that great, we're honored, but it's not easy,
Right. So the one thing we did learn, because now we had to read so many of the, well, not me, but Jared did, but just because there are so many, is to print them out, highlight the most important things, and save it. So that because next time you do it again, you know exactly where to go, so you don't make the mistake the second time, because you get back charged if you make a mistake.
Right.
That's true.
So that's
that is
one.
true.
So now we have a binder of stuff.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you're giving this information to our listeners and viewers, because getting the purchase order or getting somebody to say we want your product seems like it's just the beginning, and then it all.
Right. That's the easy part.
Yeah.
That's the easy part.
Right.
It's really easy to get into a store. After that is the problem.
Well,
that's just a challenge.
Like you said, it is just the beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And, we get that a lot here at the LaunchPad, and not but they just ask, hey, I want to send this to HSN, or I want to do this, but they haven't prepared anything, or they're not ready. And it's very scary. And, sometimes you have to really just pull back on the reins and say, listen, you need to be ready for this. And I think a lot of investors, they watch Shark Tank and they're excited. There's nothing wrong with them being excited, but that's what's so great about what you guys are saying. I just want some of the inventors and product developers to realize that they got to be ready.
Yes.
Right. It's also a lot of money. When we first started, I was like a cheerleader. I was like, oh my God, we got a purchase order to Joann's. Oh my God. I was so excited. And I'm like, aren't you excited? And he's like, I'll be excited when they reorder. I was like, no, you have to be excited now. You just got a purchase order from Joann's. They never reordered.
Oh, see, yeah, there you go.
Packaging was terrible.
Right. Oh, it was iteration 7 of our packaging. Yeah.
So it's like I was excited, and he's right.
Now, out of you guys, who helped with the packaging, or who was responsible for the packaging on it?
I mean, I think we went through 4 packaging designers.
Wow. There were freelancers.
There were 3 that were
we tried
freelancers.
To save money.
Right, because it's expensive. Finally, we met a girl who her forte was as seen on TV.
Carrie at Company 5.
Oh, okay.
And she really
changed.
Right, she took it. She finally was able to get my brain on the box, and made it so people started seeing it and knew what it did by looking at it, because you only have a few seconds to make an impression.
Right.
People walk by. You have a few seconds, and the other packaging, it wasn't clear enough. It wasn't fun enough. It wasn't.
It didn't stand out.
Right. We actually have competitors, not competitor products, but like products in our category, in our space, that are now trying to copy my packaging.
Right.
To almost look
Same
like
colors.
To almost look like they're trying to brand it so it looks like it's part of mine,
right.
even though it's not.
Right.
They just started doing that.
I actually showed my sister recently a picture of where we are in Bed Bath & Beyond, and this other particular product is hanging below us. And she said, it looks like that's part of the Hang-O-Madic brand.
Right.
Totally. And I was like, do you know what that is?
You should knock off this product.
Wow.
Right.
That's unbelievable. It's great for people who want to copy you, but you just step back and go like, what are they doing?
Right.
Right. Right.
Totally.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, that happens. People copy a product. People copy a packaging. I mean, it's kind of like the
part of the thing.
Yeah,
too.
part of the process.
Yeah.
And then you have millions of dollars to go fight them. No.
No, exactly. You're exactly right. So the packaging, when you get a purchase order, or when you get this huge document, and I've gotten those documents from retailers, they are so specific on the packaging and what it's supposed to say, what needs. What's some of the things that really stand out that you had to change, or that we can give some of the listeners what they 100% need?
Labels.
Well, no, the actual packaging. I would say the languages.
Oh.
So what the language requirements are, meaning like, French, Spanish, English, positioning of it, the material of the package, and then the footprint. So every inch of that wall has value to a retailer. So is it too big? Is it too small? Is it the right size? Our first, one of our first packages was probably fine, but it was 3 times the size of the one we have now. And the retailers basically said, for $14.99, this takes way too much space. The math doesn't work out. So every single space has a value. So the footprint has to be in proportion to the retail price. If that makes sense. And also, the space, so that it displays properly what you're trying to convey to the customer. So size, material, and then languages is always tricky. Our standard box now is probably covers 80% of retailers in the US, but 80%. Nothing international, but so if you're successful, eventually you're going to have multiple packaging languages for different parts of the world.
Right. And then in addition to that, you have to make sure that whatever box or plastic or whatever it is, that it's durable. I was watching, somebody shared a video today on Facebook, and this gingerbread company is in Bed Bath & Beyond, and their glue came off because their box was glued, and the glue came off, so they took all the products off the shelf.
Right.
Well, whoever now made that product is not making any money because it's not sitting on the shelf.
That's
so you want to make sure the box,
it's going to ship.
horrible.
Right. So
Terrible.
it has to stay in the box during shipping.
Right.
Yeah, it's a good plan. Yeah, and that's kind of one of the things that you really have to worry about. There's things that are out of your control that you have to depend on other people. And sometimes, you're only one or two people. You say to yourself, how can we cover everything? And, you just want to make sure that you use people that you can count on, because you would hate to work for years or months or whatever it is and put all that money into it, and something that was out of your control doesn't work, or something happens with the boxing or something like that. That would be a terrible, terrible story.
An expensive lesson.
Right.
Yeah. Because
we learned it the hard way. Our second box had that problem.
wow.
The product didn't stay in it because it was half paper, half clear.
Oh, right.
And the box was too big, so it didn't keep the Hang-O-Madic tight.
Right.
So every time, the retailer
would it would be crooked in the box on a shelf.
Yeah.
So
wow.
We didn't learn the hard way too.
Right. Yeah. So finding this company was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, and
like you said earlier, people are, their product is their baby and they don't want to let go. But some things like packaging, for example, give it to someone else if you want to succeed. Because we tried to save money by not hiring a packaging company, and we did freelance like Fiverr, right? And we didn't spend a lot of money, but then we ended up having to redesign twice. So we ended up printing the boxes twice and lost $100,000. Wow. So wouldn't have, and we lost 2 retailers. So it makes sense hiring a packaging company, pay the money, and save basically.
Yeah.
The packaging's important. I mean, I always say you could sell dirt in a good package. I mean, you just said
that. It's so funny. You said that last week.
Yeah, I mean, you can, and it is. I mean, I think that even myself and you guys, when you walk in a store like Target or Walmart or whatever, you see so many packages and so many different things. You kind of take it for granted that, oh, we need some packaging. It'll be, it's just packaging, but it's so important.
Right. Well, because I think the packaging sells, not the product. Because you don't know what's in it.
Right.
You're looking at a picture. My son won't eat unless I show him that it's Cheez-Its or baked fish. He's looking at the picture on the box, and that's the only way he makes a decision if he's going to eat it.
There you go. It's perfect. It's a good example. So just going on to something that we spoke about earlier, and I read. You guys went on to a show, elevator pitch show. Is that something that you just finished up?
Yeah, we were on Entrepreneur Elevator Pitch, and we were on Steve Harvey Thunderdome.
Oh, how did they go?
The Steve Harvey Thunderdome, we lost. We went up against another product. It was Legos.
Really?
And then the Entrepreneur Elevator Pitch, we got a deal.
Oh, okay, great. It's awesome. How was and that was on the Entrepreneur. How was that show? I mean, I hear it's fairly well done, the Entrepreneur show.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, to be there. I mean, the food was good when we were waiting, which was kind of cool. But no, I mean, from the production side, it was very professional, very nice. It's very cool to be a part of it.
Right.
And I thought it was entertaining, right?
Right. I thought it was really cool to see. People don't realize, even when you watch TV and you see people go into an elevator, that's not a real elevator.
Right. And we have a non-disclosure agreement to discuss that too.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. We won't talk about that. But it's production. Obviously, you can't have a real elevator. But just to see how the elevator works was interesting.
Yeah.
It's just something. Back the
Cool.
scenes.
Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah,
behind the scene was awesome.
yeah, that's good. No, and it's a lot of fun. I know that a lot of inventors, and again, product developers, they look to get on these types of shows and really just show their product offer. They just want somebody to listen to them. They want to talk about their product to someone. And is there anything that they can do? I mean, you guys have been on several shows. You've been on some podcasts and things like that. Is there any tricks to getting on those, or just constantly just hitting the sidewalks?
Personality.
Ah.
And energy.
Right. If you're not fun, if you're not interesting, that's a weird thing. You can invent it all you want. If that's all you have, you're going to be in trouble because, nobody wants a boring inventor on the show, which,
right.
No one's going to listen to it. It's
right.
a great idea or not. You have to be able to sell it as well.
Right.
Oh,
okay. Well, we will watch TV for entertainment.
Right.
So you have to be entertaining.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And is there any places that you go to find out about the shows or the opportunities to be on some of the shows, or are you just kind of constantly searching around?
Yeah, I Google. I Google almost, if not every day, every other day. I also have a Google alert for looking for women entrepreneurs or inventor shows or casting inventors, casting entrepreneurs. So I get a Google alert, anything that comes up online. I also have a Google alert for Hang-O-Madic in case someone, blogs about it and I don't know. So, those are free, easy things anyone can do.
Yeah, especially with the internet.
There's no secret. The one thing that people don't realize when they invent something, Google is your best friend.
Yes, I would agree with that. I would 100% agree. They don't take the time to realize that, and I know you guys, before I even say that, do you guys get a lot of inventors reaching out to you for help?
We do.
Yeah.
We do. We have like a YouTube channel where we post stuff to help on our lesson. What was it called? Pitch to Get Rich. We have a YouTube channel and people communicate us there because we help people for free. People post something and we'll respond back to it with a video. But she's got people all the time. Everyone in the world reaches out to her. I'm harder to get a hold of. So I help them if it's more technical.
I'm an extrovert. He's an introvert.
Right. So it's harder to get me because
he hides.
I'm a hider.
I wouldn't have known that.
Yeah. That's why I'm drinking a big cup of coffee. It makes me more sociable.
What's the YouTube channel?
Go ahead, babe.
The Pitch to Get Rich.
Oh, very good. I like it. I like that.
Just share how we did it, how the process is. I also blog a lot. I blog on LinkedIn. I blog on our website, The Pitch to Get Rich. I blogged how we got into Home Depot. And today I posted how I do Facebook ads successfully. So we've had a lot of challenges, a lot. We could sit here for the next 3 hours and talk about it. Mm. So I tried to blog what finally worked for me after I've gone through these challenges. So I've wasted $10,000 on Facebook ads, and now I know how to do them. So I wrote a blog how to do them so you don't have to spend $10,000 to learn yourself. That's
fantastic. I really commend you for that. A lot of people, when they learn something, they don't want to share that knowledge. And it's so great that you're taking your time to do that. I mean, I'm really, really happy that you're doing that. We're going to push out people to your YouTube channel as much as we can. I think that's great. Thank you. Well, in case you haven't heard of sharing is caring. Yeah, it sounds good, but you and I both know
it doesn't work that way.
It's not for everyone, right? And that's kind of why we started the show too. I mean, what are some of the top questions you get on your YouTube channel?
How to price a product. That's a big one.
Right. How to figure out the cost. I mean, how do I get into it's always how do I get into retail? How do I get into retail? It's so vague, a lot of people have no idea where to start. So, I mean, that's, we're trying to cover in every video, because we try and do 7-8 minutes. So it's not boring, but trying to cover from the start to the finish. That's about packaging or trade shows. We'll do the trade shows because her and I feel like the trade shows are key because you get so many important people in one big building at a time, so a lot of people ask about trade shows, what to bring. Yeah. It's a lot of questions. We get a lot of emails. And then we try and, wait to get a couple together, and then we do a video on it. Right. My biggest thing with the Inventors Challenge is how to pitch the product. And that's what I really want to convey is I was in sales for 15 years of my life, and I really didn't understand
how to sell until I started selling Hang-O-Madic. So now when people contact me and they give me their ideas, like someone recently sent me a message and she says, I'm a coaching educator for pre-K to college. What does that mean? What do you coach about specifically? Like, you know, and that's what people don't do. They're like, I created, you know, some XYZ company. You want to tell me what it is? So that's what we also want to talk about and try to talk about on our channel. Kind of like packaging.
Yeah.
Those, you know, it's,
well, there's so many. There's so many steps, like you said. I mean, there's things that you guys, what's great is when a question pops up, probably what you've forgotten, then all of a sudden it pops up like, oh, I remember that. I mean, you guys have so many things going on that you can't talk about everything because it's not right at the top of your mind. But when somebody's asking you a question about it, you go, oh yeah, I remember we went through that 3 years ago, or, you know, and you can give them that knowledge. And what's great is you're really helping people get to market faster for less funds. And, you know, money isn't the only resource they have. I mean, it's time. Just think about the time that you spend and the time away from your family and things like that. That's all resources. So you guys giving this information, to me, it's really helpful.
Well, figure, you know, what you give, what you get. Like, we just had so many horrible experiences. We've lost a lot of money with people that were bad. I mean, bad people who took advantage because we didn't know yet. And if we could, you know, and I mean, if we could stop that from happening, you know, we would love that. It would just figure, you know, we're trying to do the right thing. And then, you know, a lot of this information is not proprietary. It's just some little things you can know or to learn to avoid, you know, to avoid the pitfalls of what we've, you know, of what we're trying to do and what we've done successfully.
Right.
So
it is a tough industry, the whole inventor retail.
Right. There's a lot of bad people out there just trying to make a buck, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
They're feeding off the inventors' excitement, and
Totally.
It's not fair. Yeah, I agree.
No.
And that's why I love what you're doing with not only giving out the information, have the YouTube channel, you know, doing podcasts. I mean, you guys are talking frankly about what you did. I mean, you're not trying to like act like you did everything right. I mean, you say that there was some missteps, and an inventor or a product developer, if there's no missteps, they're not learning anything. We all know. I mean, I've developed several products, and I can tell you, I do this for a living, and I make missteps. So someone that has never gone through it, you know, being able to reach out and consume your YouTube channel or podcast, and I just hope that they're absorbing this information because it's really, really helpful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's great. So when did you guys patent your product? I mean, when was the point where you said, okay, we have this, let's file for the patent? Or did you do anything first, like a provisional? How did you go about that?
I filed a patent like the first year I thought of it. Before even, I'm trying to think, I don't even know if I finished my first prototype. You know, to patent something, you don't need a prototype. You could, you know, assuming the drawing has the right information on it, you could prototype from a drawing. Okay. So I went right into a utility patent. I filed a patent. So the first one was years ago, and then several years later, I filed the second patent to supplement the first patent, which I did very quickly. And you know, so we have 2 utility patents. And now we have, since then, of course, we've filed trademarks, copyrights, you know, everything. But we did it right away. And then I did a supplementary patent to, you know, kind of shore up any hole I had in the first patent.
Yeah, that's good. That's
so within the first year I had done it. I did it on LegalZoom.com for cheap. Yeah. And then later I had a real law firm to review that patent and then add to it. So.
Good. Well, I mean, that's a good idea. You hedged it, and then you covered the changes with the supplementary. But I like how you did it because you didn't go out and just throw a whole bunch of money on trademarks and patents and all this stuff until you knew you had something there.
Totally, exactly.
Good.
It was probably a good 5-6 years later before I filed my second patent when we knew we had wheels. When we knew it had wheels.
Right, and what's nice, one thing I just recently learned with all this patent and trademark stuff is to protect your packaging. You have to also get copyrights on the photos.
Yep.
So thank God we didn't do that the first time because we would have done it like 8 times by now.
Right. Right.
So make sure the product's selling before you know, make copyrights of the photos that you're using on the box.
Oh.
box.
Make sure it's your final. Yeah.
Actually, we changed our logo 5-6 times too.
Right.
So.
Right.
You guys have done a lot of work. It's crazy. I mean, everything you're talking about. But you're trying. I mean, and that's the thing. Everyone thinks that they're going to hit it right on the head the first time, and they get frustrated. And I try to explain the same thing as you guys. This is a learning process, and there's no one expert out there that knows everything. I mean, it just doesn't happen.
Right. That's why we have all these podcasts and YouTube channels, and you come to. It's like we all come together to help each other out. That's why I say sharing is caring. If we can all work together rather than against each other, we will all be successful.
Yeah. No, I agree, and I like how you explain that. The trade shows are important, because I think that's something that's overlooked by a lot of inventors, because they believe that they're going to make this idea or this product, and then they're just going to go right to retail. And I think that mentioning those trade shows is really an important step.
Right. And we went to the International Houseware Show in Chicago, which is actually coming up in March. And we're going to be there again this year. They have an inventors corner. They have an inventors corner. So which is great about having the inventors corner is that area was the most foot traffic of the entire show. The show is like 6 miles long.
Yeah.
It's in the convention center in Chicago. It's massive. I mean, you can't even cover that. So that was really good area for us to be. And then you get to go pitch your product every single day in front of a panel and get their opinion.
Oh.
So the first time we went, we got to pitch to people that were QVC and 2 catalog people. And just because we went in front of the panel to pitch our product, we got into the catalog.
See,
so I didn't even have to go look for these people. They were right there in the panel available to me.
Well, that just shows why the trade shows are so important. I mean, you can get a lot of money for your buck if you get out there and you put yourself out there.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. I hear, and again, I've been to a hardware show, and from most of the people I speak with, they get most of their walkthrough of their traffic or interest from the hardware show. I hear it's a great show for that.
Right. We went to the hardware show too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we did the houseware show. You're allowed to do the houseware show 2 years in a row in the Inventors Corner. So this year we're going back. We'll be on the panel to share our story and have people pitch their product to us for questions and stuff. So we're really excited that we get to go back to kind of where it all started,
That's awesome. It's so great that it's so great that you're becoming part of the inventor community by putting yourself out there, and people are coming to now speak with you and pitch to you. I mean, it's so cool that it's kind of turning around and you guys are becoming the center of it. It's a great feeling to see that happening.
I remember when we saw it, when we were there, and then people actually talked to us when our first year. I remember after they spoke to us, they all kind of went away, and I thought, God, couldn't they just hung out and been there for us to ask some questions off? Like they were too. I almost felt like they thought they were too important. So I know when we do it, her and I will be on the panel, and then we'll hang out. I'll hang out all day if I have to, because I remember how important it was for me, or how disappointed I was that they were too important to hang out. You're there. So that's the kind of things that I know that I will do better, is I will make myself available, for as long as I need to be, to make.
So sweet, baby.
Right?
So sweet. Wow.
All right, that's enough.
Antisocial is going to be social.
Well, I'll drink a lot of coffee.
Well, no, it's good that you do that. I mean, you experienced it from the ground up, so you're a different type of inventor than some guy that was just hired to be a buyer, or they don't know what the life of an inventor is. They just know that they have the power to put a product on the store shelf. Whereas you guys have gone through it all, so you know what it's like to live it.
Oh, right. We know how much it costs. We know how depressing it is. Sleepless nights. I mean, I would say this week alone, the last 2 weeks, our product is shipping amazing right now, and so much that I'm having trouble keeping up with production.
Yeah, so don't buy it.
So the last couple of weeks I've been up. Sorry, we should the restroom. The last couple of weeks I've been up all night so I could talk to the factory in China. For me, it's never a U.S. issue. Whenever there's a production problem, it's always out of the country. It's this one part. So I've been up until 3-4 in the morning, so I'm able to speak to China, which really sets me behind. But yeah, it's there's a lot of challenges, and it doesn't stop. I mean, it hasn't stopped for us yet. So yeah,
Yeah. No, I agree with you 1,000,000%. What people, again, don't realize is that every step of the way, even they think that getting a purchase order, getting a big sale is the end all, as you have spoken about. It's not. But even as your company grows, then there's supply issues, then there's shipping issues, logistic issues. It's not something that once you get your product in the store, you can just sit back and reap it. People, and again, I just hate saying is that people think that as soon as they get a product in the store, they're just going to sit back and collect checks. I try to say that's not how it works. It doesn't work that way.
No, no, not if you're going to do it yourself.
Right.
If you're going to try and, if you give it away, it's one thing. But if you're going to try and do it yourself and make a business out of it, no, that's just the beginning. Problems grow as the company grows.
Right. And it's, it's still just the two of us. We don't have a Kevin O'Leary, behind us. It's just us, in the kitchen. You're in the office.
Yeah, but the great part about it is when all's said and done, and you guys are going to do it together, and you didn't have, you're getting people that help you, but you're the one facilitating. And yeah, it's going to take you longer, but when you look back, you're going to say, hey, we did it.
Yes.
Right.
And then we could finally take a day off.
Right.
Looking forward to it.
Right. We haven't taken a vacation in 5 years, 6 years.
Right.
I believe it. The life of an inventor, I believe it. And it's so great that what's good about what you're talking about is doesn't sound like you're discouraging people. You're trying to educate them to be ready.
Right. That's all.
Right.
Yeah. It's a really fun ride, expensive one, but we've had fun. It was great. We've had some challenges. We had to sell our house, but still amazing that I tell them every day when we go into a store and we see our product among Black & Decker and Stanley and all these people, like, how cool is that?
Right.
Even though we're having all these challenges and some days we want to kill each other, but to still see that's amazing.
It is amazing. It's so great. I could see that when you're talking about it. It is. I mean, you ought to walk into a store and be like, that's our product. I mean, it's so cool.
Right. And then, he invented it when he was 20 years old.
Wow.
A long time ago.
Yeah, so, I mean, he was in college, young kid, Most people just want to graduate and go to law school or whatever, or,
I wish I went to law school still, babe. We have more money to pay.
You never know, my friend. You never know. But it was great thinking of you to keep that idea going. And, it is pretty cool that you invented it back then. A lot of great ideas come out of college dorms. Some of them are illegal, but a lot of great ideas come out of college dorms.
Right, somebody can't talk about that.
But it's just awesome that you put it together. You met up with the right person that can help you in all different ways. And I think it's just so cool. The story itself is great. You're still going strong. And I really think it's a great story. I really do. And you guys are doing what a lot of inventors, hundreds and thousands of them, are striving to do. What I like mostly is that, you're giving back, you're giving knowledge, education. You're telling people about the missteps that you made, which a lot of people wouldn't do.
Right.
So, all right, guys, I think we're kind of done. Unless you guys have anything else that I might have missed that you want to throw to some of the inventors, or I know you got your YouTube channel. I'm going to be sending some people over there also. But is there anything you want to mention?
Yeah, the last thing I can add that I think is really important that we have touched on is because we haven't been in business long enough. When we first got into our first store, we got a pretty large PO. You can't just take that to the bank and get a loan, right? Because
being properly financed and be prepared for that is huge.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a good
cash flow, right?
Yeah.
Every time we get an order, we get a big order. But yeah, I mean, that was the only other thing I could think.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, cash flow is important. People, again, it's one of those things where you want the inventors to be ready, and that's why this information that you're given is so important. A purchase order isn't the end all. Now you got to develop, you got to fund it, you got to ship it, you got to get it delivered. I mean, how scary is it delivering that first order?
Oh yeah. I mean, first order didn't sell, then it got returned back to us. So Right. First order was a nightmare, but yeah.
See, there's important information though. I mean, it's not the end all. I mean, it's a, and when I say it's a constant fight, it's a good fight, but it's constant. And you gotta really, the inventor world, being the inventor life isn't for everyone.
No.
Right.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. And the last thing I just remembered So when we first started, we started calling stores right away because we knew we want to be in retail at some point. And what people don't understand, you don't get into retail in the same day. It takes, you have to find space. They also buy products a year out. So if you know you do want to get into retail stores, don't sit and wait, just start making those relationships. Start finding the people who you want to work with.
Unless it's a discount retailer. A discounter will take the inventory, like a TJ Maxx.
Right. But if like a big store, like Bed Bath & Beyond, Home Depot, it took us a couple of years to get in there, but we did start calling them 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So if that's, someone's route, don't wait until you're completely finished, but make sure you have your final product and packaging and just start the conversation. Because even getting these buyers to respond takes a month.
Yeah.
It's not like I email someone and they're like, oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
And they're not bad guys. They're super busy also. I would assume they're like, hey, I'm trying to get to you. And does it seem like when the buyer sees your product, if it's something they like, they jump on it, or it's still going to take some time?
Still going to take some time.
Yeah.
It feels like it takes forever. Unless it's a discount retailer like a TJ Maxx, it's a process. I mean, even if they love it, it's when is that section going to be reset? It does. They're not going to make a change for one great product. It doesn't work that way unless it's unless it's seasonal maybe. But if you're going to approximately be on the shelf 24/7, 365, it's going to go in their system and get redone when it's time to get it redone. A $1 million retailer is not going to make a business change for one product. It's just that's not how it works. Your product might be genius, but it's one product.
Yeah,
it's a million other products. So got to be patient as well.
Yeah, that's good you say that. Inventors believe, and again, I'm sure there's inventors out there that have a great product. They believe that their product is the one that they'll change the system for. But yeah, Jared, you're right. They're not going to. If they have a system down, it's reproducible, it's replicatable. This is how we do it, and that's it.
Right. Oh yeah.
What about insurance? And again, I keep thinking of things, and we got to hang up with you guys. I don't want to take your whole time up, but what about insurance? Was that something that popped up, or you kind of knew you needed it?
Just popped up again 2 weeks ago with Target. They want a bigger policy than our policy. So yeah, you have to have liability insurance, and every retailer wants to be added to your policy. So not only do you have to have a policy, you have to constantly make changes and additions to carry them. You can negotiate on that too, which we didn't know back then. Because they asked for a $10 million policy doesn't mean you provide them a $10 million policy. So yes, insurance is extremely difficult, tricky. That's something people could reach out to us and ask us for. We're negotiating right now with a big retailer. They want a bigger policy than we have, and our policy is huge. Is your product dangerous? Does it really need to be covered? Is there a waiver that can be signed to reduce the amount of liability? But yeah, every retailer wants a policy, and they want it written as big and as large as you can get it, as they can get from you to cover them in case of a liability. It's just you don't always have to do it, but they ask for it for sure. And it's scary, saying, going back to someone big and saying no. What about this? It takes stomach to say no. What about this? So.
Yeah, no doubt. I can see that being like, what do you want me to tell them?
Right. Tell Walmart what,
But, on a product, and again, people think that, you're just raking in big bags of cash on each product. A few cents is a lot of money. So you got to save money where you can.
Totally. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. But when you got to buy smart, if you're buying from China, China always rips you off from the first order. And then that's kind of like industry standard because most people only place one order. Packaging, are you buying it direct from the mill? Or is there a middleman you can get out of the way? Everyone wants to get their hands in it. But if you have too many hands in the cookie jar, you're not, and your cost is not lined, you're not going to make any money, and your retail price is going to be too high. So you really got to follow that chain, of who's doing what and who's touching what, and always try and physically go to, where the production's happening, so you can see the start and then see who has their, who has their hands in it. Yeah. So.
Yeah, no, it's all good advice. You guys are, you're doing awesome. I know that it's a fight every day, but I'm in awe of the things you guys have accomplished, and it's just so cool to hear what you're doing, what you have in the future. I know that is there any new stores that you'll be breaking into within a few months, or is there any new stores coming up?
We just got into Target. Oh my gosh, Target.com. But we just got into every Home Depot in North America. So in store, and we just started in September. So we're in every Target, in every Home Depot. And we're going aggressively after Target stores and Lowe's, but right now we're in every Bed Bath Beyond, every Home Depot, every Container Store, every Hobby Lobby,
at the register with Hobby Lobby.
So we're and that's in the U.S. We're working on a really big deal right now with this big distributor in Holland to really kick us up a notch internationally, and they want container loads.
Wow.
So we're kind of like in the expanding phase right now. I mean, there's 100 irons, and that's how we still do it. We have 100 things going on, and we take what we can, but we always have a couple of different things going on at one time just to always have something in the pipeline.
And we're trying to figure out the international EM something, because we're trying to go on QVC
international
in Germany.
So international has their own. I'll be on QVC in January, so people have to tune in and listen to me. I'll be there personally.
Oh, Menards. We're trying to get into Menards.
All right, we find a Menards January to try and close them up. They're up to 330 stores.
And hopefully we'll get to meet at Target that same week, since we're already going to be there.
Yeah.
So I'm stalking.
That's what we do. Stalk them. Creepers.
Man, that's great. I'm surprised you guys. I mean, I can see when you don't catch any sleep. You got so many things going on. Then you're talking about follow the sun policy. I mean, people in the U.S. think everyone works on at the same time we do. It doesn't happen. So, I mean, you got to talk to a lot of different people all over the world. It's not so easy, so. Well, guys, listen, man, I've used up a lot of your time. I mean, you've given me some great information. Again, I thank you for all the things you're doing, not just about giving the information on my show, but also on your YouTube channel, doing the blogs. We'll some points of people over there. I'll send some people over to your website. I think it's a great product. And now you're selling the product on your website also, right?
On a website as well, of course, on Amazon. But, we're in so many retail stores. Sometimes I don't know why people pay so much shipping to, just drive by. We're in almost anywhere. Plus, it's always better for us to go to the store.
Right, go to the store.
But on our website, Amazon, thegrommet.com is our biggest onliner. But,
Grommet, great site, Grommet. All right, guys.
Yeah, great starting point too for inventors.
Yeah.
Get the product on there.
Right.
Oh yeah, it is. Grommet's a great site. There's no doubt about it. So, all right. Well, listen, I appreciate it. I mean, this has been great. Some good information. I would love to have you guys on. Again, get some more information, to, give us an update, maybe in a couple of months, give us an update on all the great happenings, and, check with Jared, see if he ever got any sleep. I would love to hear about that.
I'll sleep soon. Next week sometime.
I will keep you posted.
Thank you for your time. We appreciate it. Thanks for having us on.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, guys. We'll catch up with you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.